Hi there, my name's Sarah and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to my Top Tips series on Tuesdays. I try to show you how to get the most out of your Stampin' Up products. Right, today we are dealing with ink pads. Now, Stampin' Up ink pads, there are just a couple that you have to think about. These are the old style ink pads, which open up. You have to push it away from you, and then you flip it over and then you slide it along. So if you purchase any currently you will be buying these ones, not these ones. These ones were phased out probably a year or two ago now. So yeah, they're all getting a little bit sloppy, but they are, so I've had these 6-7 years. They're just fantastic. They have stood the test of time. I won't say there was an issue with them. The only issue that there was, sometimes the lid would come off. But I'm going to show you how to deal with that. So you won't need to know it with the new ones. They're completely different design. This is foam based. It's a foam based pad, and when you flip that upside down, so the ink runs. Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say, when you store your pads, you store them horizontally like that. So always they can stack on top of each other. I have an organizer that they go in, but you can stack them on top, and it keeps them that way. And the same with these ones, that they're designed that when you flip it open, that the ink is actually upside down, so it stays at the top of the pad, so it's ready for you basically. So yeah, these are the new style, and I always say these are like a makeup compact. So you hold it firmly at the edges, and you can either open it up like a makeup compact like that, and then you slide it along. Now, some people find that a little bit tricky, and especially when they're new, they can be a little bit difficult to open. So another good tip is you just just flip it. Just get your thumbs on the top there and apply a little bit of pressure, and it flips it open. So if you have, it's just another option for you. So yeah, this is foam based, and you can see that's a little bit blotchy. Now that's because it needs refilling with ink, and that's what kind of happens to them. That's how you know when your pad needs refilling, when it starts to get a little bit patchy and blotchy. And sometimes you can get small fibres over the top as well. Yeah, what you can do with that, you can just get a piece of cardstock or something, and you can just gently scrape them off, but very gently. You don't want to scratch you, and they will come off, and then you can wipe it on a bit of tissue or whatever. So that's that. So yeah, these are the foam based ones, and then we have ones. This is our archival grey, this and the Memento Tuxedo Black. They have a linen surface, and I don't know if you can tell the difference. You can't, but you can certainly see it. That's definitely a rougher, you probably can't see it. It's definitely a rougher edge than the foam is, and I like to treat them a little bit differently in the way I stamp and use them. So I'll just show you the black Memento, but you can definitely see it's got, like, you can tell it's linen because it's fibrous. It's got stinged edges, frayed edges, but yeah, so like a linen, but it's a lot firmer. I'm not going to touch it, but so yeah, I just like to deal with that in a different manner. So I'll show you stamping in a moment. So I don't know if you can see on this one. This one's a little bit patchy. I don't know if you can see it's starting to go a little bit patchy. So that one probably needs re-inking as well. But I'm just going to show you how to do the Poppy Parade. So we'll do the flip it, push it. So we get an ink refill. I thoroughly recommend having these because I know a lot of people don't buy them, and I don't think you realise over a period of time that your colour is getting lighter and lighter, because like anything in life, things happen gradually. But trust me, if you go from stamping it like this, let me show you, especially on the patchy areas, if I do patchy, you will really notice the difference of how the colour really should be. That's not too bad. Another good tip is make sure you just use your ink pad, the whole of your ink pad. Don't just stay in the middle. Use your edges and everything. Yeah, That's a little bit darker because that was where it was a bit more, yeah, you can probably see that. It was a bit more, that was on the faded patch. I mean, it's not too bad, this one, I must admit. I'm quite good at keeping mine re-inked because I do like them to be their true colours. So you're not going to notice, well, you probably will notice a little bit of a difference when I ink it up. It probably will become a stronger colour. So anyway, just all over. And what you can do is, I say, you can either get a little bit of cardstock, fold it, and then you can use that as a scraper, or you can use a credit. Some people use credit cards. I use a glue scraper. Depends what you've got really, but say obviously we all have cards, so cardstock just you don't want a sharp edge. So I just put that fold in it, and then you're not going to likely to scratch your ink pad. I must admit some of them I have caught them a little bit when I use a sponge brayer, so I'm trying to be conscious not to do that. So now we'll see what it's like after it's been inked up. So all over, make sure you use your pad all over, not just the middle. Yeah, it's a little bit darker. It's just like it would be like it's new again. So you can use, obviously these are dried a little bit as well. But yeah, it's a little bit more true to colour. But so many people, you probably wouldn't notice it because I say it's a gradual decline, but you certainly notice it when you re-ink it up and you think, and you realise, you think, my gosh, it really has got light. So yeah, it's well worth having these little ink refills because they're good for if you need them for watercolouring as well. And rather than using your ink in your lid, you can just squidge a little bit of that out and use it, and it's much more concentrated anyway. So I'd prefer to use that if I can. What else did I need to tell you, Sean? Yeah, oh yeah, make sure when you close, especially these ones, these aren't so bad because they slide. Make sure you hear, listen, that didn't really click. You want to hear that click. Let's do it with this one. It's a newer one. Did you hear that? So you want to hear that real click because you don't want air getting into your pads and drying your pads up. Although obviously you've got your ink refill if that does happen, but you don't want to waste things, do we? So, yeah, you just saw my technique when I stamped. I'll just do this one. You don't squidge, you don't do all that and squidge it in because you get a load of ink all on here and then that could transfer to your cardstock, and we certainly don't want that. And you don't need to be, you don't need to go mad with it. You just need tap, 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 or kiss, 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 however you want to, just a couple of taps all over. Yeah, okay, it's a brown flower. We don't want the brown flowers probably, but I'm just showing you that that's actually quite faded, you can see. My soft suede, that's definitely not true to colour, so although it doesn't look patchy on there, I know what the original colour looks like, and I'm pretty sure that should be darker, and I must admit, I love my soft suede, so yeah, I'll put that aside, and I think I'll be re-inking that one today. I didn't bring it up with me, so I can't do it now. I'll put that one to the side. Oh no, I've got to use that in a minute anyway. Just be careful. Yeah, I just want to make sure I cover everything. Right, another little tip, and if this will work, I'm going to go back to the Poppy Parade actually. Is when we do what we call second generation stamping. Right. So yeah, again we're going tap, tap, tap all over. Right, say we came off the edge and then we do that. Look what's happened. Now that is obviously because when I stamped it down, let me show you. When I stamped it down, I've got the edge of the cardstock in there because that didn't get inked. So when you go to do second generation, that's what happens. You only get the second parts generated. So in order to do that, what you need to do is you need to do let's do so off the edge, and then you would need to do that and go again before your second generation. It's fine if you're on your cardstock. It's only when you're on that edge. So if you've ever got that in your stamping and you're wondering why that's happened, that's why, because you've been off your cardstock. or on something else, a mask or whatever, and it's hit that, and it's just, yeah, not stamped properly. So just wanted to show you that. Said about storing them. Check your stamp is clean and clear every time, otherwise, because you don't want to transfer your inks onto other ink pads, especially your lighter colours. You can get it off actually. If that does happen, what you can do is I would either just get a cloth, or preferably, or wet wipe. Although yet again, if you use wet wipes, that can leave fibres behind. But you can just get it. You know, if you've got a red on a blue set, on a light blue, just try and get it off with a kitchen towel, as much of it off as possible, and then re-ink your pad. Yet again, another good reason to have your ink refill. It does happen. Let's say if you don't clean your stamps properly, it can definitely happen. So yeah, what I want to show you. So that was with the foam pads, which is basically all the coloured ones that we have. So you saw me tap, tap, tap like that. Now, when I deal with the linen pads, this is just my personal preference. It's not what other people might do. This is what I just find how it works for me. Rather than doing just that, you could do that. Tap, tap, tap. But I don't know if you can see, I don't feel it ever covers properly. And let's just have a look. See, to me, that's a little bit patchy in the middle. So what I like to do is I turn it up that way, and I smooth it on first, and then I go in and tap it. And I can actually see where I'm inking. Let's see if I get a better... Yes, much better. So hopefully you can see the difference in that. So that works for me. So you might like to try that. And what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else about that and I've forgotten. Oh yeah. So yet again, I'll keep going backwards and forwards. So I did that before. If you've got a larger stamp, or if it depends, I don't know, say you just have problems lifting it up, or you can do that as well. You can do it that way. That works really well, I say, with the larger stamps, and definitely our background stamps, because sometimes those background stamps, they are huge, and yet again, I use the Stampin' Artist for that, and you'll just find it much easier to apply your ink to the stamp rather than your stamp to the ink. Oh, goodness me. Nearly dropped a bit of juggling there, and you can see what's happened. I've just touched that, so if that happens, you need to go back and ink that up again. Did well to catch it though, didn't I? Oh dear, a bit of juggling. Wow, that's really vibrant now. Now I've inked that up. So yeah, it's not wrong. It's personal choice to go tap, tap, tap that way, or to apply your ink that way. You can, yeah, you've got more control over it probably that way. You can see what you're doing, I say, and it definitely works for the larger stamps. I would definitely use that method. So it's a case of trial and error really, what suits you, what you get on with. It's not set in stone how you have to use it, but we all find little ways of making things work for us. But I'm just showing you what works for me, and hopefully you can see why I do that with the linen one. As I say, definitely a good effect. I don't know. Oh yeah, I think the last thing I'm going to show you, and I say you really don't probably need this unless you've got the old ink pads. Now this one, because this hinge has broke here, so I can actually break this intentionally if and it's not breaking it, it's come out. And you think, it happens quite a lot in my card classes when we used to have them, and so I was like, oh, never, don't worry about it, I'll do it, I'll put it back. So what you need to think about, right, so your hinge is here, and so we want to put it in up here the opposite way. And this does take a little bit of time to get in, and you're looking for these little lugs here to get them started in the, it's going to be really tricky on camera. Oh no, I've done it. So I've got them in there, and all you do is just pull it back slowly, glide it along, and flip it over. It's going to come out again because of that hinge, because it's, like I say, I need to buy a new one really. So I'm just going to show you again. Get the lugs in, yeah, a little bit of, squeeze it along, and then flip it. So this one will always come out because of it's broken there. Some demonstrators just pop it in and pop the lugs in the hinge. I personally don't like doing that because I'm not sure whether that weakens them or not, so I don't do it that way. But so this one just got dropped, unfortunately, I think, and it just, yeah, unfortunately broke. But I think that's all I needed to show you, so I hope that's helped a little bit, and just see how you get on and see which tips work for you, basically. Right, thank you for joining me. Thank you. Bye. See you next week.